So something I didn't emphasize about side views, and what I find so impressive about them, is that they're very efficient to draw. And because of that, you can do many in a day, and they're nice and quick to do. So today I thought I would address stilettos. I think it's probably the coolest name for a shoe ever. Most of us who design and sketch shoes always sketch sports shoes and trainers, but today I thought I'd go more of a fashion direction, so let's see what happens. As always, I'm using a Pro Marker pen with a chisel tip, not warming up. I'm going straight into it, nice and raw and rough. There's no need for any criticisms. We're going to go straight into it and see how it goes from here. So as always, I start with a baseline for a view of this kind, and we're going to see how it goes. So what's the biggest characteristic of a stiletto? I would say it's the high arch of the heel. So what we're going to do is we're going to just add a reference line that runs around the back. Now, I'm using this plane as my, I would say, start and stop, as I did in my first shoe sketch, one of the first videos I ever posted on this page. So having this horizon line as my start and stop, I can sort of use it as a reference in places. Now, the arch of the heel is going to be coming down, but it's not normally halfway along the page. It's a little bit further back. So I would say the arch is going to link up here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to endeavor to draw some kind of arch that comes down like that. Nice. From there we can round it off, have a bit of a good time with that, and sort out the toe. Okay. Now, truth be told, this is the first stiletto drawing I've ever done, so to all the fashion designers out there, this will probably make you cringe. Okay, I'm just going to experiment a little bit with the angle of the arc and the way it goes up there. Let's draw some kind of straight line for a reference and bring it down. Nice. And now the cool part is when you actually give it a bit of a curve, give it a bit of height, sharpen it off. These are actually stunning things to draw because there's a lot of creativity that can go into the way it's proportioned. You know, it's all about proportion. That's the name of the game. So now, to give it a bit more intrigue and depth, I'm going to double up the heel, or should I say the sole. Add a bit of thickness there. Now we get to the fun part, which is actually designing the heel itself. So I'm thinking we pull a line across there and, I don't know, just go to town. Cool. Okay. So what's happening is it's tapering down, but then it's also tapering out. So we've got a bit of straight, we've got a bit of angle. We can round it off. And now's the time that you can experiment with joinery and how this might come together, because that's quite an important feat too. I like the feature of having this little groove on the side, so I'm going to include that as a part of the design. It's almost like a different material, so I'll just highlight that with some cross hatching and pull this back. I hope this is all showing up on the camera for you. This is quite a I would say subdued stiletto. It's not exactly aggressive like most of them you see nowadays. So it's all just about freestyling and having a go. That's nice. Okay, so I'm thinking if I had to label this and change up the color, maybe I will, just for the sake of this exercise, I will make this nice and dark. That indicates that there's some kind of color under the heel. It might be a color that is a different color to everything else. And since we're at this whole coloring in thing, what we can do is add a little bit more flair to the drawing by drawing through the lines. So we're pulling some lines across and out and round. Some kind of line that runs through the shoe itself. Nice. Maybe one line going around the back. Great. So there we've got a very nice and basic profile of a stiletto shoe in pink, obviously, because it has to be pink. And let me think. Okay, let's add a bit of aggression to this shoe, because stilettos generally are, you know, they're intended to be quite aggressive shoes. So a nice method of shading, adding some kind of dynamism, would be to start off by just rounding off the edge, but then cutting it with your marker pen. You know, give it a bit of flair. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's all good. It's all exciting. It's all an adventure. This is turned into a bit of an alternative art piece now, I think. Hey, it's cool. It's all about experimenting with shoes. So again, let's try and do one side profile just before this video closes up. Again, facing a different direction. So we do a reference line for the heel. We give us some kind of line that links up to where the heel hinges down and where the toe ends. So from this point, you bring an arc down, you pull an arrow across, and from here it's all up to you to decide how you want the toe to link up and how you want the heel to go, whether you want it to be small or big or taper or not. It's all up to you. Let's really make this a stiletto now, nice and sharp. Nice. Kind of enjoy these. Cool. And then of course, if you want to add a little bit of visual flair, you can just segregate up the lines to give it a bit more character. So if we had to highlight the elements of the shoe, of course number one would be the heel. Number two would be the arc of the shoe itself. And I would say number three is the portion of the toe and how that fits in. So I'll call it number three. And we'll call this sketch a day. It's pretty cool. Really enjoyed that. Maybe I'll do another series of these in the future. But thank you as always for watching this short clip of me prattling on while I sketch out bizarre things. I hope you've managed to learn something from this little exercise, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.